Remember, this whole chapter was about kind of banking, right? We started out with savings accounts and checking accounts. Then we got into our bank register and reconciliations, which the worksheets will help us with. And then we went into the money markets and the annuities. So again, you got to make sure you understand what the problem is asking you. So any of these problems that you need to see on the board, make sure you say you need to see it on the board. Number 10, on April 1st, Preston McCord deposited $1,400 in a savings account that pays annual interest of 3.2% compounded quarterly. If he made no deposits or withdrawals in the account, what interest could he earn by keeping his money on deposit until October 1st? So, the most important thing here is reading through here. They said it's compounded quarterly. Okay, so again, if it's compounded, you can always add that back to your total. But now you got to decide, how long did he have it in this account? Well, if he opened it on April 1st and they're asking you how much is in it on October 1st, how long was that? Well, April, May, June, July, August, September, and then October, right? So 6 months would be how many periods? 2, if it's quarterly, right? So when I do this problem, I have to actually do this problem 2 times, right? Because I have to figure it out the first time and then add it back together to figure out my second time. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
So would you keep that same, that first amount for both times?
Why don't you just do 6?
No, can't you just do,
No. Okay, so this is a good question, and I understand where you're getting from. So they're saying, why can't I just do 6.4%? But it doesn't work out that way. Okay? Because again, it says annual interest of 3.2%. That's our annual. If you add another 3.2% to it, now your percentage is ginormous, and you're talking about way more than a quarter of it. Okay? So again here, the basic thing that I'm going to use in this problem is what? I equals PRT. Okay? So we say I equals, and in our case right here, what is my principal? 1,400. What is my rate? 0.032. We are getting good at that. And what is my time?
See, can't you?
why?
Let's say 1/4. Because it says it's compounded quarterly, right? Okay? I just have to do it 2 times. So if you punch this into your calculator, what do you get? I mean, good. So if I punch this into my calculator, I get $11 and I got 20 cents.
So why didn't you do?
Okay? Now listen. So you're going to say, well, why didn't I just do this as 1/2? Right? Because 1/2 would be 6 months. So let's see if we do this. If we do 1,400 times 0.032 times 1/2, why would I do 1/2? What does that mean?
6 hours.
6 months, right? Because that's really what I did. If I did this for 6 months, what would I get? 22.4. So here's you got 2 options of doing this. I could do this right here, and I could do it 1 time, or I could take this and do this one right here, basically 2 times, but I would add this amount into it.
Wait, so is that why you can do the 1/2?
That's why I can do the 1/2, yes.
You can do the 1/2?
I can do it 1 time, or I can do the compounded and do the same thing. You can do it either way.
No.
You should get the exact same answer both times. You're off 9 cents?
Yeah, because it's compounded quarterly.
So my answer for this one would have been
11.29.
2248. And this was what?
That's your 22.4.
This was 22.4.
Yeah.
So you see, if you did it individually compared to if you did it all 6 months.
Well, do you take either
Okay,
one?
so,
Yeah, as long as you show me what you did on your, that's why I just encourage you to keep doing it. So this one's probably this one's a little higher just because of using that different number and you're increasing it. This is what I would say like it's not a true one, but this is just going back and using the 1400 so you're not actually getting the entire amount.
So what if you did the 1400 times 32, or 0.032, took that number, added it to 1400, multiplied that by 0.032, what?
Just,
And then you get that number, subtract 1400,
Yeah, do that now.
divide that by
Don't do that. Go ahead. What do you get?
You got 22.7.
Okay. I have no idea what he was saying, so I just stopped him.
So would you like, how would you recommend this, like, what would you recommend this to?
Well,
Like, you say you can do it by the 1/2, but then you get a different answer. It's like, is the doing it twice and adding it to the 1400 more accurate, or?
More accurate.
it don't matter.
This one, yes, would be more accurate. Because
Kind of does.
I'm actually figuring it out per quarter here.
Okay.
This one right here is me doing it as a one-time deal. So this is actually a little bit less accurate, and you should actually do this top version.
Okay.
So on the test, when it's asked you to do it multiple times, I would do this version right here and add it back to my original amount. This would be like a rough estimate of it. So you could do this and kind of see, but obviously I know you're gonna say, well, it's 8 cents, it's not that big of a deal. But 8 cents for us isn't a big deal at $1,400. 8 cents when you get into the millions turns into thousands of dollars, right?
I didn't know for sure when to use the table with the compound interest,
The table you can use anytime you want.
so we should have used.
You could have used the table in this one right here. And then you would have done your annual divided by 4. And then found out your periods on the side. And you would have came up with this exact same thing. So this, to me, is for what I would call the math geeks that like to do it. That would be for the ones that want to do it one time. But you can always do it both ways.
Okay, so if it's compounded, you can.
Exactly right. So this right here is used if you want to know exact quarters. That would be your grand total. So if they would have asked you how much did you make in your first quarter and your second and then your total, you would have to do it this way because, well, you could still do it that way. You would just use a different number of periods, but then you're doing it 2 times anyway. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Does that make sense what he's asking? Okay, so you can do this all the time. The table just makes the process simpler. And it's a one-time answer. Okay? You would have gotten this answer.
So is that 22.48 your interest for 6 months?
The 6 months, exactly right.
Okay.
So this is my first
Yeah,
quarter.
you're
This is my second quarter. This would be my grand total.
Okay, so you wouldn't have to add that 11.20 next to the 22.48?
No, I added this and this to get my 2248.
Okay, yep, all right.
These are my 2 quarters, so this is what I have at October 1st. Okay? And then the difference is when you do it this way, you just have to remember, so if I was asked to do it one more quarter, I would have taken 1128 and added it to this to do it again. Okay? All right. Does that clear some things up?
Yes.
All right, go down to 12. Justin, whatever his name is, listed these items on his deposit slip. Do you wanna try this one on your own?
Yeah,
Okay, so. See if you know what total deposit he's going to make. This is a good one.
I already messed it up.
Hey, the other thing that you gotta think about for this chart, Eric,
Yeah.
is like this one right here, this percentage might not be on that chart.
Yeah,
So if we would've done this one and tried to use the table,
yeah,
this percentage wouldn't have been on there.
the periods might not be.
Right. So that's the other thing that you have to take into consideration. So you could always use that table as long as, and,
As long as it's on the table.
right, and most banks would have a table for any percentage that they're gonna offer.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What? Are you talking to me?
No,
We're just talking
How
about.
much is it?
how much is what? What?
I was thinking the same thing, I couldn't figure out how much a nickel was.
That roads in education for you.
Oh, yeah, for sure, I definitely was not paying attention.
Sometimes I get confused between nickels and millions.
Did you get 3,000 or 2,000?
Reason.
2,985, 66.
That's what I get. Wasn't sure if you should.
Sir, do you know how to round?
Yes.
Molly was gone for
Who
that
taught
whole-
us that?
whole, chapter and a half or something.
Was that Mrs. Benson?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think, no.
Benson?
The, you know she retired.
Yeah.
I'm really upset I don't have these problems. We done?
No.
No.
Almost.
Wait, don't,
Trade. 2,985.66.
Yep, that's what it's.
okay, we're done.
2988.36.
Awesome.
No.
What'd you get?
You're $3 off the.
2,985.66.
That's okay, I tried doing it all on my calculator. I did. What other ways are there?
Dude, this is why it's a little.
Did we get it?
More simple. Why can't there be a problem like this on the? I got this thing in
Waste
sixth grade.
grant.
Trade now, I had the same one, I remember that. Yep.
I don't really
I don't even know where that
Yes.
one went after that.
I know where that one is, it's at my house.
Is that work, wait,
I
what's
never
the
use
worksheet
it
due
because I
tomorrow
don't need
or
like.
Wednesday?
Sorry, maybe
Plus, I
after
don't
the
change it anymore.
test.
I just use a simple calculator that can do.
After the
This
test,
is
so.
Add, subtract.
Where it's at.
Probably not
You just
until-
got a simple.
I got 40,000 something.
This is where it's at.
So the most important part of this problem right here is just going slow and understanding, when they say that cash back, you just have to subtract that from your deposit, right? So again, we can come back and help some of you out, but it should have been $2,985.66. So again, if you need to come back and do it later, we'll,
2,985.66. 2,985.66.
Suspicious that he doesn't have.
so we'll look at it some more. But again, that's just basically doing simple math, adding and subtracting.
$5.
Go to number 14, please.
He's the reason.
At the start of the day, Grace's checking account had $201.87. So in this case, again, anytime that they start talking about this, I would make sure that I show myself what I'm going to have. So in my checking was 201, what? 87, okay? So again, remember, when they talk about electronic banking and using my debit card, it's always gonna go with my checking account, or sorry, usually gonna go with my checking account. Okay? So she used her debit card to pay $56 for groceries, $28 for cleaning. She then transferred $150 to her checking account from saving using her bank's ATM. She also directed her bank to transfer funds electronically from her checking account to pay a charge account bill or credit card of $187.12. What was the balance of Grace's checking account at the end of the day? Okay? Does everybody understand the words?
Yeah, wouldn't you not even subtract the 187 out because it was just automatically inserted then?
No, you still have to subtract it out.
Actually subtract it.
Yes.
Because I thought it was added.
80.2.
The only thing that added is the $150.
Oh, I thought when it said transfer funds electronically, that would go like 187.12 progress savings to her checking. So they wouldn't-
No. So when it says that she's doing it electronically, it means she's paying a bill. Okay?
You were thinking you were.
So,
I was thinking way too.
I should have subtracted 56, and I don't know if these are the right numbers, but subtracted 128, added 150, and then subtracted 187. Roughly, whatever it was. Okay? Everybody good with that, what I'm showing you there?
Yeah.
And understand that? So again, now this one's a little easier because it only asks you about your checking account. I think the one on the test will ask you about your savings account too. So again, now here I would have a savings section too, and I had $1,000 in my savings, and what would actually, the only thing that would happen to this would be I would have subtracted 150 from my savings, right? Because it got transferred over here. That make sense? Anybody good math?
80.18. Try again, I should get one of them. big-
80-18, yes. Everybody good with that? Any questions on that?
Wait.
Okay.
This is-
For your savings, does it give you that number, that top?
No, I just made this up. Oh, it will, on the test,
Okay.
it would. So it would say your checking account had this much and your savings account had this much.
I didn't say that, you said that.
Okay? Good with that one? 15. Basil's online checking account had a balance of $371. The balance did not include a direct deposit of $672 that will be transferred to the checking account by Basil's employer at 11 o'clock. Basil's bank will automatically deduct a house payment of $720 at the end of the business day. Basil also makes online payments of $34, $90, and $368. How much money does Basil need to transfer to complete these transactions and still have a balance of $100? Okay, so this one's a little bit more complicated. Let's look at this one. So, how much did he start with?
371, 7 cents.
Okay? How much was his direct deposit?
672.80 cents.
What were his bills?
720, 34.85, 90.29, and 368.20 cents.
This was 85, wasn't it? Not 89.
85,
Okay? So, here's the question now. Is everybody good with my pluses and minuses? This should have been a minus and this should have been a minus, right? And what's the question asked?
How much does he need to put in to have $100 still?
I want at least $100 in there, right? So, I'm going to do all of this math and figure out what I have. If you do this math, what'd you come up with?
Why do you have to say it like the speed of light?
Positive or negative? This should have been negative, right?
Yeah, change the 5 to a 9.
Everybody agree? I don't know if the numbers are right, but.
Sure.
So then, how much do I have to transfer if I want $100? 269.47. Everybody agree with that? And see where that came from. See if that one's right.
Wait, will you get charged for your bank if you go
Yes.
under and then you go back up though?
It depends.
What if it's on the same day?
If you can do it on the same day, I wouldn't think you would have problems. That's why this would be like a continuous, transaction of when it hit that amount, it would do it right away, I would guess. But you just gotta make sure that it will do that. Because it sounds like you get yourself close to trouble.
Actually, I had 67 cents the other day, so.
Oh my goodness.
I did mine the last 3 days in a row, and I was $2.53 off. I couldn't find it. So finally, I just, okay, I took it.
What?
I don't know where it is, $2.53. I was over it.
I was doing
What?
20
You're
bucks.
over $2?
$2.53. From what they said compared to what I had.
I couldn't believe you do that.
You know?
I will not.
Alright, so 17 is our check register. So this is what we're going to do on 17. 17 is also what those worksheets are a lot alike. Okay? That you're going to do for the rest of today and into, what's today? Monday? Tuesday. So that'll be due on Wednesday. Okay? So again now, remember, write down register compared to what?
Oh, wait, bank statement.
Yeah, my bank statement. So the other thing that you can do is, like somebody said, home. This is what I have at home, this is what the bank says. Okay? Somebody read number whatever one.
17.
Okay?
Apparently Solocal's bank account statement balance on June 30th was $845.43.
Perfect.
Its check register balance was $247.62.
Okay, stop right there. So all of a sudden, if this came into the mail, huge difference, right? What does the bank know about that I know, or what doesn't the bank know that I know?
Direct deposit.
Okay, direct deposits maybe?
Subscriptions.
Okay? Checks. Checks are a big one, right? Who knows about checks? I know about checks, the bank might not, because of it missing it through the mail. Okay? What does the bank know that I don't know?
Automatic, bills paid.
Okay, maybe automatic bills. If I forgot to write it down, what else does the bank know that I don't know?
Interest.
Interest is a really big one. And some kind of fees, right? If I have a debit card fee or something. All right, so go ahead.
His comparison of the two records showed a check for $85 was recorded twice in the register.
Okay, so if it's recorded twice in the register, do I get that $85 back?
Yes.
Yeah. So plus $85. Was it just straight up 85?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, now when you do this on, if you look at your worksheets again, if you would do this normally, like for yourselves, you probably wouldn't do it on top of each other. You would have your pluses and minus here, and then your running total on the outside. But again, that's totally up to you. Okay?
We would say like, I don't get it when it just says check, because a check could you could be depositing in the bank, or like you could be using it. I don't understand, does this say the difference? Or does
This one right here said that it was recorded twice. So basically, you wrote this as a check, but then you wrote it down 2 times instead of 1 time.
Oh, okay.
So that tells me that it is. So you got to just kind of read it real carefully and see, does it say, I use a check to pay my bill, or I have an outstanding check, which means the bank hasn't gotten it yet. So it won't specifically tell you, but it will through the context of the number.
Check is, you wrote it still.
You wrote it. You would have had it on yours, but the bank might not know about it. Okay? Go ahead.
A check for $138.11 was recorded as $138.11.
Okay, so 100, say the numbers again.
$183.11.
And it was recorded as,
$183.11. Oh wait, no. it was
138 for the first one.
Yeah.
So you're switching
The
up.
first one was 138.
It was recorded as 138, but it was supposed to be
okay,
180.
so it was recorded here,
That's
but this is
183.
what it should be.
No, opposite.
No, it's the opposite of that.
There you go.
There you go. So
Okay.
You should get $45 for that.
So, it was, now you got me all confused. Recorded as the big one,
Yes.
and it should have been
Yes.
Yes.
the little one.
So you-
Okay, so, here's again, Justice. Am I getting money back? Or am I taking more money away from myself? This is what it should have been, but this is how I recorded it.
Take money away.
You're gonna take more money from you,
Well, from the register.
from the register, but this is what it should have been. I needed to pay $138 to Molly, and I wrote it down as $183.
Oh, okay. Then give.
I'm gonna give myself back some money, right? How much? Whatever I subtracted it. So this will happen a lot, right? Just flip-flopping the numbers.
$45.
$45. So plus again, $45. Okay, next one.
And an ATM deposit of $368 and a debit card purchase for $81.10 were not recorded on the registry.
Okay, so if I had an ATM deposit, I'm adding it to myself. How much was my ATM?
$368.
But then I had a, what'd you say, a bill or something?
A purchase for $81.10.
A purchase of $81.10. So again, this might have just been direct deposit, and I didn't know when my direct deposit would have been for a job. This would have been, I went to Walmart and then got busy and I just didn't write it down. Okay? Anything else?
Also, an ATM withdrawal of $50 and interest earned of 82 cents were not recorded.
Not recorded in the register.
In the register?
In the register.
Okay, so $50 was what?
$50 was not recorded, minus 50,
Okay,
and then plus 82 cents.
all right.
82 cents,
Okay,
and a couple of checks weren't recorded.
Three checks were outstanding for $490.
so where am I doing outstanding checks?
Bank statement.
Now I go to my statement, right? Okay, go ahead.
$191.22, $23.87, and $15. That's it.
Okay, so what is my answer?
650.
No, but what should my answer be?
The same.
The same.
Those two numbers right there should be the exact same thing, right? When I do all that math. And you're saying it's what?
$615.34.
Anybody else agree with it? Sure.
Nobody else is in
Oh,
What?
yeah.
65144
600.
61534.
654.
That's
It's
exactly
still
what it
audible
sounds
when I
like.
say it.
Alright, so again now, if these two numbers aren't the same at the end, you gotta go back and readjust. Okay?
Mr. K can figure out his readjustment.
And my $2.53 is just out there.
What?
Why are you mad about it?
He's not a.
Because I owe $2.53 that I didn't know about. Yeah.
It's
Like,
just
those are
$2.
big. They took out like $20. I'm like, hey,
We
what's
could
up?
each bring a quarter for you.
Now,
Like,
I really, where do you bank?
what was that?
He said, hey, what's up to him?
Call back, yo, what's good? You take it
Well,
off.
because
Wait, which
some
bank
of the things that happen at your bank, I've never heard of anywhere else, or anyone else's bank doing that.
What's
You just get interest for random stuff, and now they're just taking money out of your account for random stuff. They don't tell you why, they just take money or give you money.
I should just bank at Remsen, that sounds,
Obviously, everybody should.
that sounds like a trip.
It doesn't do that for me.
It doesn't,
No.
so it's just down.
They just like me more.
Alright, are we good with the reconciliation?
I will call.
Again, this is what the worksheets are gonna be about here. That you're gonna do. Go down to 19. Dale has $80,000 on deposit in a 6-month CD paying 2.72% simple interest. At the end of 3 months, Dale cashed out the CD. The penalty for early withdrawal of money from this CD is 1 month's interest. What was the amount of penalty Dale had to pay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the one that a lot of people missed on the quiz. Okay?
Let's go back to that chart.
This one, no, not necessarily.
You have to go to one.
This one you're just doing I equals PRT again.
What does it mean when it says it cashed out? Who cashed out the CD?
He got his money that was in
Pulled
it.
out of it.
He took it out.
He took it out, right?
Pulled it out.
Wait,
So what are we gonna do?
it says
80,000?
80,000 times 0.027 times.
So this is more, you have to do 6 over.
1/2. Right?
But wouldn't it be just 1 month, so wouldn't it be 1/12?
Amen, sister. Good job.
But is that your answer?
That's like annual,
That's what
yearly interest.
So here, everybody stop and understand what Tiff just asked.
What'd you say?
Yeah, that's 1 month.
1 month's interest is me doing I equals PRT again. And my T is 1/12, not 1/2. Because it's 1 month's interest. Okay, so we would have had our 80,000 here. We would have had our rate. And then we would have done 1/12 instead of 1/2.
Like, did you
And that's your
multiply that
answer?
number?
That's my answer.
Did you-
So what'd you get?
Oh, 181.33 remaining.
181.33, yes. Okay, now here's the thing. If this one is because they cashed out, like Molly said, on the quiz, they only took out some. That's a big difference. Okay, so on the quiz, they had 80,000 in there, but they only wanted 9,500 or whatever the number was. I don't remember. But they took out a certain amount. Everybody pay attention to this because I think it happens again tomorrow. Your penalty is on what you took out, not what was necessarily in the account. That's where a lot of us, I think just about all of us, missed that.
Wait, say that again?
So your penalty, so we're trying to figure out the penalty here, but it was cashed out, so I used the total amount. But if I just take a portion of this, so if I had this amount in there, but they said I took out $9,000, then my formula would be 9,000 times 0.0272 times 1/12. I only pay my penalty on what I take out. So this problem here said that I cashed it totally out. That means I'm taking the whole thing out. The one on the quiz, I had some in there, or I had my principal, but I only took out a portion of that principal. I only pay a penalty on the portion that I took out. That make sense?
So like, if you're looking for your 6 month, but you're still like, say you're looking for like, they want to know the total of the 6 month, but you still took out anyways, so they need that 1 month, can't you just do the 1/12 and then multiply that by 6? Is that legal, or do you just want us to do it by the 6/12? Whatever it is.
I think you're saying two different things.
Oh, I grabbed the wrong one.
What you're saying is true, no, you're not. What you're saying would be true because it's a simple interest. So then I could basically find it, simple interest should be pretty steady. But I would always do it, I wouldn't do the multiplication like you said, either way, because remember how it adjusted just a little bit when we did it on that other one?
Yeah.
It would adjust a little bit on this one too. If you're constantly putting things in there, or taking things out. Down.
If you go 80,000 times 0.0272 times 0.25 for the 3/12, get that in.
Why are we doing 3/12?
So that's what it said. You hear me out, and then you just divide
Hey,
that
Donald?
by 3.
Why are you trying to make everything so hard?
I'm not. Can you do that?
Can we get
Yeah,
all
it's
that?
the exact same thing, 3/12, and then you're dividing by 3. The 2 3s would cancel each other out, leaving you 1/12.
Oh.
What would your time be if that was like quarter?
For what?
If it was what?
You got paid interest over